his corner, weighing 142 pounds, the undefeated champion of the world, Mr. 217.
MMA, hey, MMA, hey, MMA, we gon' punch you in the face. MMA, hey, MMA, hey, Mayhem Radio, we turned up in this place. Off the ropes, with a chair, fight dirty, pull her hell, MMA, hey, MMA, hey, Mayhem Radio, we turned up in this place.
He hits him with the right, he hits him with the left, he ducks, uppercut, another uppercut, a punch to the right, he's out, KO, and Mr. 217 is still the undefeated champion of the world.
MMA MayhemRadio.com.
What's going on, fight fans? This is Brad Storm on the first ever Sitting Down with the Storm episode on behalf of MMAMayhemRadio.com. And on this episode, we'll be interviewing a gentleman that knows all about hard work and dedication. He lives by the philosophy of having a positive attitude, having complete control over mind and body, and displays a disciplined work ethic. This man went on to become a freestyle wrestling champion and one hell of a coach, and is the founder of the 360 Strength Trainer. Fans, I bring to you Coach Tommy Pavia. Mr. Pavia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brad. How are you?
I am doing excellent, and MMA Mayhem Radio is growing at a fast pace. I tell the fans that all the time, and we're going to start doing some extra interviews here and there. You are our first ever Sitting Down with the Storm interview, so why don't you let the fans know a little bit about yourself? What's your background?
Well, first of all, I'm honored to be the first, and appreciate the opportunity to speak to your fans and passionately about mixed martial arts and what is near and dear to my heart for many, many years, sport wrestling. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a teacher and a wrestling coach and an entrepreneur. I'm a father of 5 children, 4 girls, and one son who wrestles. He's a sophomore in high school. And like I said before, the creator and founder of 360 Strength LLC, which is the home of the 360 Strength Trainer, which is wrestling's best core strength trainer. It's been an exciting journey in my life. Never thought in a million years I'd be an inventor, but it really makes a lot of sense because I've been training for 20 plus years as an athlete. Still get on the mat with the guys as a coach, and blessed to have that opportunity. And just get after it, man. Getting after it each and every day. Get after your goals and dreams. I mean, we got one life to live. Why not?
Amen.
So, born in Brooklyn, New York, raised in Long Island, New York, and wrestled at William Floyd High School in Section 11, which is probably the toughest section in all of New York. Wrestling is hardcore there. Went on to junior college, qualified for the Junior College Nationals, only to not compete due to an injury, pretty serious injury. Went on to the Air Force, became part of the All Air Force Wrestling Team, otherwise known as the Air Force National Team. Competed with some world-class guys, and just had a great opportunity to get after my goals and dreams of trying to make the Olympic team in 1996. Failed pretty miserably at that on my way to winning a freestyle national title, an AAU freestyle national title. Met some great guys. Had some success, plenty of failures too, but do not regret it, not one bit. I mean, the sport of wrestling has just been a huge blessing in my life. I love training others. I love inspiring and motivating every chance that I get. And just the opportunity to speak to your fans is just another opportunity to do exactly that.
You talk about motivation. Now, it didn't always start off that way. When you were younger, like really young, I believe about 10 years old, you were having to competing with your siblings, right?
That's right.
Did you ever get over that feeling where you said, hey, I'm my own individual, I can do just as well as my siblings can do, and even better?
No question. First of all, I was blessed to have a great family. My mom raised us in a basement in Long Island, New York, in a really poor area, crime-ridden, drug-ridden, still to this day. And my dad left when I was about 10 years old, and that really was a huge blow to me as a young man, aspiring, want to be accomplished and achieved athlete. My baby sister just was a phenom athlete from the age of 5 all the way to her adult years. and my brother, older brother, was also an accomplished athlete as well. And so to see that happening right in front of me and feel like I was completely lost, I had an opportunity to wrestle. It actually was my brother's buddy who was just kind of wrestling around with me in the backyard, and he said, "Man, you should go out for wrestling." And so I went out for wrestling, and like I tell my story to a lot of kids to encourage them. My first year wrestling was 7th grade, which is pretty late to start wrestling these days, and even back then. And I wrestled 3 matches. I dislocated my elbow, and I lost every match. I got pinned, and I cried like a baby after every match. I walked around the hallways the following year, the beginning of 8th grade, and I had a great coach, a guy named Joe Gurley, who put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Hey, Tommy, why don't you come out for wrestling this year? I think you'll do great." Well, I didn't lose but 1 match by 1 point to a highly ranked kid. Even in middle school in New York, there's the tough kids. And my freshman year, I got an award, most dedicated. I don't like to boast about myself, but it's the award that I treasure more than anything else, because I really became a wrestler during those years, and really realized that what it was is the 3 things that really would make me an achieved athlete in my heart and in my mind, and that was my work ethic, my attitude, and the way that I thought. I knew I had a choice of whether I thought positively or negatively, so I chose to think positively. I knew that I could work a little bit, I could work average, or I could work at levels that no one's ever seen before. And so I chose, the highest road that I can possibly achieve in work ethic. And I knew that with the right kind of attitude, I truly, even if it sounds cliche, I truly could do anything I put my mind to it. So with a lot of failures in the beginning, and one man stepping in my life, and of course my mother too, just always getting after me to do my best, it really changed the course of my life. And I was fortunate to have, even though it was a lot of injuries throughout my career, I had a lot of opportunities where I did have success, and I really felt like I did hit that mark, even though I didn't hit the mark that was ultimately the mark that a lot of people go after, and in some way, it was just great to have the opportunity to chase after an Olympic dream.
Now, it seems like everybody comes into your life for a reason. Your coach saw something in you that you probably didn't see in yourself at that time. And you grew and you became a better wrestler, like you said. But there's also something you talk about being the ultimate exercise. What is the ultimate exercise? Explain it to the fans.
Well, that's funny. I was just talking to some high school athletes about that. One of the things that really that I caught during my adolescence was living in the area that I lived in. I mean, you look to your left, you look to your right, you can get in trouble either way. So I really needed to separate myself and not just being an athlete, but an athlete that trained like a maniac. And so I really started to kind of identify with ways that I could train that would really separate me from other people. So what I'm talking about, I didn't have equipment. So I started to do exercises in my own home after, arduous, tough wrestling workouts at the high school level. And that ultimate exercise is the push-up.
Yep.
And so I would do, there were points in my career where I would do 1,000 push-ups a day and literally do push-ups while I was waiting in line in the grocery store.
Wow.
And I wanted people to look at me. I wanted the attention because what I was doing is I was not just getting the attention from other people, but I was also solidifying the fact that, I was crazy about training. I was crazy about getting after success. And eventually I got to a level where there's a comfort zone of being this crazy maniac trainer, and I continue to do that and have that kind of gift, if you will, as I would pursue great things in the sport of wrestling.
There's another athlete that we all know here, since we're from in the Atlanta, Georgia area, a former Bulldog named Herschel Walker. He used to do tons and tons of push-ups, and that never stopped him. He was at the top of his game for many, many years. And you're right, you don't really need any equipment to get the results you desire. You can just train hard. Like you said, have the positive attitude, and the work ethic, even with MMA Mayhem Radio, we had to build this from the ground up. So if we didn't have any drive or any kind of motivation, we wouldn't be able to achieve the things that we have achieved today. And speaking about achievements, you were a Freestyle Wrestling Champion. Now explain how that all came about and how you became the champion.
Well, back in the late '80s, I had made the Air Force national team, and I realized at that point in time that I had gotten over a hurdle that was, it just always seems it's always mental first. Once you understand that you belong and that you can compete at a world-class level, then the physical starts to happen. It never seems to happen where it's physical first and then the mental. At least that's been my experience anyway.
Right.
So when I realized that being on the Air Force national team, that I could not only be around world-class athletes but compete with them, the dreams and the goals really started to kind of expand. And so I knew that if I wanted to make the Olympic team, that I was going to have to go to the toughest tournaments, in the country. So I started to get involved. I was actually in Delaware for a number of years, and was a bona fide Olympic hopeful through the Delaware Olympic Sports Committee, and got some small sponsorships and basically earned my way to get travel and all over the country and start to, sharpen my craft, being a wrestler. So it all culminated in the early 90s in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and where I won a national title in freestyle and a bronze medal in Greco-Roman. And it was a wonderful time. But believe it or not, even to this day, not to take anything out of this interview, but it really was almost bittersweet because it still wasn't what I wanted.
Right.
Still wasn't what I wanted, which is to make the Olympic team. But I always tell people, the guy who made the Olympic team that year in 1996 won a gold medal. So obviously the guy in my weight class was the best guy. I'm talking about Tommy Pavia, who is the head wrestling coach at the University of Iowa. And if anybody that knows wrestling knows Tom Pavia, he's one of the most intense human beings ever produced on this planet, along with his identical twin brother Terry Pavia. Just phenomenal people and phenomenal wrestlers and coaches. But it was a lot of hard work. It was 2-a-day trainings. It was 3-day trainings. It was interesting because when I went to the Nationals, I had a buddy of mine come visit me the day before I was flying out, and he said, "Tommy, how do you think you're going to do?" And I said, I really believe I'm going to win it. I don't think anybody's going to be able to really hang with me. And please don't mistake that for arrogance. It's just when you prepare and you're doing the type of training that wrestlers are required to do to have top-notch performances, you have to go into the battlefield believing that, and I think doing what you guys do, I'm sure you've come across great athletes that have that same mindset, that they get to a point and that they know, even if they didn't accomplish it, they're going in knowing that they're the best, and it's just a matter of execution.
And that's definitely true in the MMA world as well. You got to know that you can get the job done. You need to visualize it ahead of time, and you'll be a champion. And eventually you went on to coaching, and you've had a lot of success in coaching. And why don't you let the fans know what you're doing currently and some of your successes there?
Really, really been blessed as a coach. Arguably a better coach than I was an athlete, and I was fortunate to have some success as an athlete. But I think even since I was a young kid, I was just able to connect with others and build relationships and just help to elevate levels of belief because I knew how powerful it was in my life, and still carry that flame and that passion to do that. So to answer your question, it started actually in Maryland, in the state of Maryland, and shortly after my failed attempt at making the Olympic team, I was recruited by a principal that heard about me, and he had a son that had 2 or 3 years left in high school, and I coached over at Northern High School in Calvert County, Maryland, and I was fortunate enough to coach a state championship team and a high school All-American, and we had state finalists and state champions. The very short 3 years that I was there, one who happened to be a 16-year-old Olympic trials third placer at 16. A kid named Jason Gabrielson, who's a three-time state champ, high school All-American, and he went on a full ride to Edinburgh University. After that, we moved around a lot, lots of different reasons. A lot of it had to do with health of family members. We went to Delaware, where I was head wrestling coach of a very, very small high school, Laurel High School, 500 kids in the entire school from 9th to 12th grade. We were able to also have a high school All-American there and several state places, in fact 7 altogether, as well as a state champion. And we took the team to the state finals against a nationally ranked team in Smyrna. No one even thought that we would get past the first round. And that school hasn't been able to accomplish that feat since, and we had won a conference title in a very, very difficult conference for the first time and only time in 20 years. It was the second time, but only time since I've been there. And then here I am now in Mooresville, North Carolina, and started in 2006 and took a program that was 2-27. And our first year, we took second in the conference, and we won 23 dual meets.
Wow.
Really, there's a couple of ways to say this. When you have a program that you take over that's so not so good, let's put it that way.
Right.
It becomes an easier task because you really don't have any other place to go but up. I mean, because they were at the rock bottom. They had zero success in 40 years. It was a school in a rather affluent area, but just didn't have the right leadership, I guess. And so right now we are getting ready to host here December 7th what arguably will be called the toughest dual meet tournament in all of the Southeast, and it's called the Lake Norman Duels. We're looking to have it eventually become the Southeast National Duels, and I have a great assistant coach, a guy named Jason Lanning, who's done a lot of the legwork, and the school that I coach is Lake Norman High School. And we've taken that program in a very, very short period of time, and we've had a high school All-American and state champions and many state places. Always have been since day one, since we've arrived, have been in the top 10 in the state year in and year out. And they're passionate. The people around here are passionate about wrestling, so it's pretty neat. North Carolina is not known as a wrestling state. However, they really have pushed, especially in the national spotlight, to be in the top 10 in the country. And your state, I would say, Georgia,
Right.
good golly, man, they've got to be the fastest growing state in all of the Southeast, a lot because of the compound, which is a club that is just fabulous, magnificent results over there. But really excited about the season this year. Where we've got a great group of guys. My son is involved, and anytime you get an opportunity to have your son involved in something like this, it's a blessing all the way around.
That's a once in a lifetime thing right there. And there's a lot of
You're right.
there's a lot of wrestlers in MMA right now, and some would say that is the basis for anything you do in MMA, because you see a lot of jiu-jitsu guys fall into a lot of elite wrestlers. What's your thoughts on Ben Askren right now, the rubber band man?
He is from another planet, man. That's the guy. Nobody walks the line closer than Ben Askren when it comes to having incredible mental skills to the point of, he's on the balance beam of arrogance and confidence. He's like right smack dab in the middle, but you can't deny he's got a masterful way of performing. I think the jury's still out, though, in the mixed martial arts world on Ben Askren at the super elite level. There's no doubt he can compete. He's a world-class wrestler, and I think when you have a world-class wrestler, very few times, I don't think there's been any time, not yet anyway, where there's been a world-class wrestler that just has gotten his butt beat, in the MMA world, whether it's the Bellator series or the UFC or some, local or regional organization that promotes it. But
I think with
he's a talent. There's other guys out there, I think, that are getting it done that are mainstream names, and It's just I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great. In fact, I think the world of wrestling needs to take a page off of the world of MMA and really learn how to market our sport a lot better, and continue to be a feeder program for, and that's the way I look at it, for mixed martial arts.
Exactly.
A portion of it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a great amount, like you said, of MMA superstars coming out of the wrestling world. But now I want to talk about something that you have invented, something that is good for the core and something that tightens up the body and gets everything in tip-top shape. I think it's called the 360 Strength Trainer. Why don't you explain to the fans?
Exactly right.
Yeah, explain to the fans what the 360 Strength Trainer is about and where they can look up videos and how they can go and find out and check out a little bit more about it.
Well, let me tell you that part first. The 360 Strength Trainer, you can find it. Go to our Facebook page, or you just go to 360strengthtrainer.com, 360strengthtrainer.com, and there's tons of videos on there that basically show a multitude of applications of how to use this equipment. In fact, we really feel like we haven't even scratched the scratches. There's so many things that you can do with the 360 Strength Trainer, but here's the bottom line. This day and age, it's now common terminology to hear core strength. And so, back in 2007 when I did my research, I basically said, okay, take all of the research of having push-ups contributing to great core strength, and then you see these ab rollers that really just aren't very good. They're just not very good.
Well, yeah, and ab rollers, Tommy, ab rollers have been around since the late 60s, early 70s. I mean, they've been around forever.
Probably the 50s, brother.
Yeah.
Probably the 50s. A training wheel with a really bad handles on it.
Yeah,
And it's still sold in stores all over the place. And athletes still use them. But, they use what's available to them. I really believe the 360 Strength Trainer is going to absolutely take the wrestling world and the MMA world by storm. I really believe it's going to come onto the scene. Of course, that's our hope. But I really believe because of the results, you cannot deny it. Picture, if you will, for the fans here, since we're on radio, picture, if you will, a barbell with wheels, and then picture dumbbells with wheels. Now picture the ability to attach resistance bands to those and have multiple planes of action and exercise where you can use that. Picture taking the long bar, as we call it, and attaching two straps and attaching that to a sled and pushing and driving a sled. I can go on and on to all the different applications. Plus, the entire set is $297 for the entire set, and you're getting 3 weights. So the long bar weighs 25 pounds. The 2 short bars weigh 15 pounds each. So for some of maybe the muscle heads out there, and listen, I love muscle heads. I love getting strong. I'm near 50 years old, and I still train like a maniac. I love it. I love it. The 360 Core Strength Trainer will literally make you feel like you've been gutted in a good way, because it hits muscles that you don't normally get. There's a depth of engagement from the core muscles that are being used, and when you're moving and doing exercise at the same time, having this dynamic sense of being able to exercise while moving, it's incredible of all the different things that you can do. In fact, one of the things I love about the 360 Strength Trainer and how it helps develop the core is you can be incredibly creative with it yourself. So you can use it as a finishing exercise or a finishing mini workout to your current training program. It would be absolutely great with that. Or you can use it as a head-to-toe training program to get the results of outstanding total strength. And, let's face it, in the MMA world and the wrestling world, you better be training the core. Because if you're not, that could be the difference in winning and losing a championship bout. I mean, look at some of these super fights that we've seen recently with, was it John Bones Jones and Christopherson, if I'm saying his last name right, and then Kane and Junior Santos. These guys better be in physical shape. I mean, obviously, we really look at the mental piece when they're going through these super fights. But, the bottom line is you better be physically prepared.
Yeah, Michael Chandler, Eddie Alvarez, too. That was one hell of a fight for Bellator as well.
Yeah, you're right. That was great.
So we're going to have to wrap things up with you, Tommy. Coach, do you have any affiliates, any sponsors you want to make mention of before we let you go?
I just want to make mention of my great partners, Todd Youngblood, Bill Moore, and Sean Gray. Sean is an head assistant coach at Princeton University. He's also the former cornerman for Kenny Florian. And if you've been in MMA at all, you know who Kenny Florian is. So just mention the website again, 360strengthtrainer.com. And just want to say thanks to the fans. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak passionately to you guys. And to tell you, man, hey, it's only your life. Get after it.
So yeah, all fans out there, go to facebook.com/360strengthtrainer. Like the page and also go on the Twitter. You want to tweet the twit? You're going to go follow him at 360strength. Because if you don't, I'm going to punch you in the face. Coach Tommy, it's been great having you on the show, man. Appreciate you spending some time with us.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Hey, have a good one, man.
Mma Mayhem Radio.com.